Paris. It's about 1 a.m. I'm going to try and keep this light on. Um, it's about 1 a.m. and I'm in my tent asleep. Well, I was asleep. Um, I am using this technique which I used to use in the Buddhist monastery all the time. It's very, very valuable for those who find their alarm clocks unreliable. It's called the alarm clock in the mind. Anyway, what you do before you go to sleep is you tell your mind that you need to wake up at a certain time, and it will wake you without any noise at all. So here I am, I thought I haven't used this technique in a really long time, but the reason I'm doing it tonight is because sometimes the police will knock on my tent at about 1 a.m. Just to do their checks, or if they've had a complaint of someone making noise out there and they see the tent. So obviously they're going to knock on the tent and just check that everything's okay on this end. And so what I did before I went to bed last night is I put it in my mind that I need to wake up at 1 a.m. because I'm a very hard person to wake up, and it woke me. It woke me at 1 a.m. Anyway, I woke up to tourists outside of the tent acting like idiots. Always the tourists. The locals are awesome. They really are. Most of them, I would say on a majority rules basis, the locals are really well behaved and they're very well mannered and they're polite, and I've never had any problems. I've probably had 2 arguments with locals in the 4 months I've been here. Whoop-de-doo, That's a pretty good track record for me, with a strong sense for justice, who likes to fix things. But the tourists in Paris, they are so naughty, I think they give the locals a headache. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. The alarm clock in my mind woke me up at 1 o'clock in the morning because that's the instruction I gave it before I went to sleep. And also, I like to wake up at midnight to do my prayers. Otherwise, sometimes in the morning I miss them. So midnight's a really good time to do your prayers because your body is relaxed, and then I slip into a really deep meditation after that. So, I woke up and the tourists outside my tent, it's just their behaviour is, it's okay. They're touring in Paris and they're spending money and they're enjoying themselves. But there's locals around here who I'm sure would like to sleep. For me, it's not a big deal. I can sleep in I can sleep in a tornado. My mum used to always tell me that. So I'm good with that. But I only hear noise at night when I'm already awake. But if I'm not awake, I don't hear anything. I sleep very well, but the tourists really, I mean, they just make such a racket, and sometimes I really feel sorry for these locals because these locals are really good people. The French are really good people. So I woke up at 1 and there's tourists outside. I've got Asians on one side, throwing up. They've had too much to drink. I've got Americans on the other side, screeching their tires and speaking loudly to each other with the music on. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm trying to keep this light on as I'm talking to you. Anyhow, it's no wonder the police have to do their checks, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock a.m. So I kind of don't blame them. But I just woke up. I'm saying g'day, touching base with everybody, loving Paris, absolutely loving Paris. I spoke to the police again yesterday about this tent. I have to keep in touch with them because I'm right under the Eiffel Tower. Well, I'm close enough, and they have to know who's around here, so that's fair enough. This is Paris. And they're pretty good. The only difficulties I have really is when they come to the tent and they don't speak English, and this is a language barrier. These people are really awkward. And like yesterday, that's what happened yesterday morning. I have an agreement with the local police, to pack up that tent by 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. And at 8 a.m, 2 police came to the tent, 3 actually. They didn't speak English and they weren't aware of the agreement, and they're like, speaking to me in French, you know, pointing to pack up the tent very quickly, you know, no tent, no tent, no tent, and I didn't speak French and they didn't speak English, and oh my goodness, you know. And I thought, look, I'm in the midst of packing it up, it's no problem, so I complied as I do. And then I went and spoke to the police at about 5, um, later on the day, because I was job hunting and doing other things in a different area. When I came back, I spoke to them, and he said to me, look, for me it's no problem, but you know, some police don't speak English, and so, you know, there's a language barrier. And I said, yes, I know. He was nice, actually. He was very easy to talk to. Um, so it's all good. I'm still looking for work. There are no changes. Um, and again, you know, these French people are awesome. The problems that I have seen around here are not just near the Eiffel Tower, but in every other arrangement I've been in, up the other end as well, is with the tourists. And I've said this and I'll say it again, the locals are absolutely awesome. The problems seem to be with the tourists. They seem to be causing the problems, you know. They get drunk and they do silly things, and they seem to be causing the problems for the locals. So, you know, if the locals are complaining at 1 o'clock in the morning because there is a racket outside their apartment that they're paying a few million for, you know, to have views of the Eiffel Tower, they have every right to complain. This is not arrogance. This is their right. They're paying for it. Anyway, it's all good. Thanks for watching. I'm going to pray the rosary now and slip back into my meditations. I was having a really good meditation, actually. And I'll touch base with you guys again next time. So I'm in my tent. Thanks for watching, and ciao for now. Viva la France. I'm loving this place.